Okay, everyone, I call this meeting to order and we will begin at 7:10 p. Or we begin at 7:15 p.m. I think there's one. Them? All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Um, can we please get the attendance sheet passed around? Thank you so much, Lorelai. Um, are there any amendments? I know there are. Uh, okay, I'll just start off with Talia. Talia?
Hi, everyone. I make a motion to add a discussion item to address the letter condemning the event with Omer Shem Tov that was passed last week.
Yes, that is not. No, she requested for it to be open. So discussion, please. It's not a voting item. Next, Edison.
Sorry. Okay, hello. Could I strike CS Transport Fund from the allocations?
Yes.
And then I also need to make a motion. I motion to add CS Mini funding application to the agenda.
Second.
Edison motions, Nico seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All against. And all abstaining. With a vote of 9-0, this item requested per Edison is approved. Nico?
Hey everyone, could I start by scratching FSC commuter parking permit allocations? And then could I move USAC BOD allocations to end of meeting? We just have to approve carryover allocations before we can approve BOD allocations.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, USAC bod. What was the last thing? What was the first thing to be striked?
Strike commuter parking permits, please, and then move USAC BOD to the very end of meeting. We just have to approve carryover first.
Sherry?
Can I strike bag allocations? Thanks.
Thank you. Lori? I mean, Lorelai?
No, you're good. Edison, do you also want to add the guidelines?
I checked with Jalen. She said that the dates were only on the application, not in the guidelines.
Okay. Let me double check that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Sherry? Wait, no. You already said yeah. Who just raised their hand? Was it Sherry or Laura? It was Lorelai.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm checking on something for, I'm just making sure that CS Mini doesn't also need to change their guidelines to make those adjustments for their application. Yeah, there are no dates, so we're good.
Divine?
Can we please add new art guidelines to the agenda, please? I emailed it to you, Tommy.
It's an action item, so we have to motion for it. Anybody else? Super loud. Anybody else? Any amendments? Jonathan, my two proposals there in the link, right? Okay, sounds good.
Jonathan, Diego approved the housing.
I think you have to send it to him. Here, it's on Brett's online. Brett, can you please send the information to Jonathan?
Yeah, I'll send it 1 second.
Okay. Brett, did you send it over?
Yeah, I sent it just now.
Okay.
Jonathan, can it be programming? No, Graham. Don't bother.
Okay, sorry, Brett. We're gonna have to remove it because grants. It's only for programming, but sorry about that. All right, can we please get a motion to finalize tonight's agenda? Can we please get a motion to approve tonight's, Nico?
I motion to approve the USAC agenda for April 21st, 2026.
Second.
Nico motions, Hiram, who's that? Hiram seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All against. All abstaining with a vote of 10 to 0 that our agenda for Tuesday, April 1st, 21st is approved. Next, we will move on to the meeting minutes. I hope everyone had a chance to review those. And if there are no concerns, then we will approve those tonight. Next, we will move on to public comments. Good evening, everyone who is here in public comments. Welcome to the April 21st, 2026 USAC agenda. USAC meeting. As a reminder regarding public comments, all USAC meetings are publicly recorded and are subject to written student journalism and student media. Everything in this space is shared and is part of public record. As I mentioned, we will be prioritizing public comment for students who are speaking on agenda items, including anything that is being discussed or voted on tonight. If you'd like to give public comment on a non-agenda item, please wait to the end of the public comment period. Public comment will be open for 60 minutes. It will be up to the voting council members, which does not include myself, to motion to extend this time if necessary. Each public commenter will be given 2 minutes to speak and may speak once. I will be keeping time using a stopwatch. Tommy will be keeping time with the stopwatch. After you give public comment, please sign your name to our student support staff. Before we begin, I would like to state our community guidelines. Challenge ideas, not individuals. Use gender inclusive and respectful language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. No dehumanizing language will be permitted. Public comment is not a back and forth dialogue with council members. It is time for individuals to address the council. If you have follow-up questions after tonight's meeting, please email the following 15 council members. If there are any outbursts, you'll be asked to please remain in decorum. If decorum is not maintained, we will move into recess. Public comment format is as follows. First round is in person. Second round is audio and video. And third round is audio, no video. When called on, please raise your hand. I will acknowledge you, signal when your time begins, and indicate when your 2 minutes has concluded. With that, we are now starting public comments. Please raise your hands if you are here for an agenda item, and I will call on you. An agenda item includes items that have been motioned and approved on our agenda. If you are here for perhaps surplus proposal, I think that's what many people are mistaken. If you are here for a surplus proposal, that also includes that. If you are here for last week's, comment on last week's meeting, we will not be prioritizing you until students who are here for actual public comment on an agenda item. With that said, if you are here for an agenda item, please raise your hand. Okay, there you go. I knew that would raise more hands. Okay, I'm gonna go you two in the front, and then I think there are some in the back on that side as well. But again, remember, please fill out your name with, sorry, I'm looking at your name, right here to your left. With that, you may begin public comments for 2 minutes. Not to interrupt, but as a reminder, public comment is only for members of the UCLA undergraduate community. If you are not enrolled within UCLA's undergraduate, any program, you are not allowed to give public comment.
Hello, everybody. My name is Konani. I'm an undergrad UCLA student, of course. I sold art prints and T-shirts as a student vendor at Jazz Reggae Fest last year, which is one of the organizations presenting for Surplus. It was a really incredible opportunity, and I had such a great time experiencing the festival. I was stationed at a table in the festival's village section, which included a range of free goods and activities that could be accessed without a ticket to the event. Because Jazz Reggae Fest is a public event for students in a central location, it platformed me as an artist to a huge population of people, including many who had never interacted with me before. So I sold a lot of art. People got to walk home with that. And in addition, the proceeds of my work always go to local organizations. So selling at Jazz Reggae Fest also tangibly supported people from my home. Finally, it also introduced me to other artists in the community and other artists at UCLA. And so I was able to make more connections in that way as well. So overall, Jazz Reggae Fest encapsulates a lot of different things, including jazz and reggae music for students, as well as a lot of different hands-on activities for the student population to experience. And I was really lucky to be able to be one of the people sharing that mission. So thank you so much.
Next speaker, I think you were sitting next to her.
Hello, my name is Jonah. I'm an undergraduate here at UCLA. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Jazz and Reggae Fest, which is applying for the surplus. In 1986, the Jazz and Reggae Fest at UCLA was born. It started off pretty humble. I don't think people really had a whole lot of plans for the future with it. And it just continued to happen. And as it did, the importance of it to the community and to UCLA students alike began to flourish and grow. At its height, it was a 2-day festival, 1 day for jazz and 1 day for reggae. In recent times, we've had to cut back. And I just really want to stress that we're trying to build something here, something that's going to outlast everybody in this room, hopefully, maybe beyond that. I think that in these times, we need something like music to unite us. And I think that through Jazz and Reggae, our festival, you guys are going to see a huge return on that, especially with the student body, getting people active, getting people into music, and appreciating what we have here and how to relay that message to them and make it known that UCLA is a cultural hub. I think that's just one of the most important things in the world. So thank you. And
Next speaker, I believe. There you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Savannah. I am also an undergraduate student here. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Jazz Reggae Festival. I would describe Jazz Reggae Festival as a true family gathering. It's a feeling of inclusivity, community that transcends any age, ethnic group, sexual orientation, or gender. Please take into account how many students feel this way and how many more can. Thank you.
Can you please remember to sign once you're done with public comment? And if you can, please, I would ask politely to exit the room so that more people can come in to give public comment. Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm originally from the country of Trinidad and Tobago, and Jazz Reggae Festival for me is a home away from home. It reminds me of my childhood. Like the music that is playing is something that I hear my mom playing when she's cleaning on a Sunday. So finding out about Jazz Reggae Festival my freshman year, and now I'm a senior, was very important to me. So I volunteered my freshman year, and I was able to see that this is a family of people. I was able to learn more about music in general. I didn't know that much about jazz, so I was able to meet new people, learn new music, and just like be part of a family that is a home away from home. Jazz Reggae Festival brings people together through music, culture, and shared experience. It gives students memories they carry with them long after college. So I literally remember last year, we had this really big mural, and like our friend's face, who's part of JRF, was actually on that mural. So memories like this are something that I'm gonna remember after my college experience, and something that I think incoming students should be able to see. And people who are freshmen now can see what Jazz Reggae Festival is all about. Thank you.
Next speaker, I believe. Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ariana. I'm also here speaking on behalf of Jazz Reggae Fest. I really want to touch on how big of a community Jazz Reggae Fest creates, not only here at UCLA, but in the greater Los Angeles. There's so many people that come from different walks of life, and it's something that's able to bring people from different lived experiences in one space and enjoy something that we all have in common, which is music, whether that be jazz, reggae, the food, the vendors, the items that are being sold, it's really just like a culture experience that people are able to tap into. And it's a really beautiful thing to see people being able to bond, create friendships, relationships in this one event that has been so long standing here in the Los Angeles area. And I think it's really important that UCLA remains a hub for people to come together and create these types of communities that we boast and are so proud of. And we say the true Bruin values, one of them is being service. And I think that this is really important to serving our community locally. I also want to touch on the generational impact of Jazz Reggae Fest. Personally, my mom even went to Jazz Reggae Fest when she was in college, and I think that it's just a testament to the fact that it's been so long standing in the community, and it's been here for a reason because people love and enjoy it so much. It's been something that people have looked forward to year after year, and there's so much work and effort that goes into it from the students' perspective, also from the artists who take their time out to come and support such an amazing event. So I think that the generational impact is something that's really important and needs to be recognized for the fact that it's been something so long standing within the Los Angeles community. UCLA prides itself in being a major college in the city of Los Angeles. And I think that in order to do that, we need to uphold the culture and the traditions that are in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget Lang. I'm currently here at UCLA, third year. The role of reggae is to promote peace, social justice, and resistance against oppression. As I sat with my friends and family last year at Jazz Reggae Fest, I was given the opportunity to stray away from the constant work that comes with being at this school. Instead, I was able to touch on the nostalgic part of my childhood with sharing music with others. I always loved going to festivals ever since I was a child. And here being at UCLA, I wasn't really able to have much of a social life being a STEM major, but I went to Jazz Reggae Fest last year and I had so much fun and I was able to just be in a different headspace at this school. I also want to say that the dancing, the food, the culture is what makes schools feel safe and a university feel like home. Jazz Reggae Fest focused heavily on these values and social justice and peace last year, truly embodied that. It was open to everyone and it was a space that felt like it was. I love that this year I am contributing to this event and it's just been an important part of my day, just contributing different ways weekly, going to meetings and everything. So I would just hate to see all the work that we have put in not fall through.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm Wyatt Lewis, and I serve as Outreach Director for JRF. JRF offers a unique platform for students who otherwise may not have access to multi-group, multinational, and multifaceted music festival to not only experience it, but to plan and execute it as well. The Jazz Reggae Festival series has worked tirelessly and tenaciously to create a festival that represents all students at UCLA. With the excess of budget cuts and obstructions of funding, it has become more difficult to execute our creative vision and impassioned work. With this surplus funding, we'll be able to continue on the almost 40-year legacy that is this festival. The festival is planned by students, with students in mind, leading with love. Please support our students. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Next speaker. Oh, and a reminder to please sign your.
Hello, my name is Kayla and I'm speaking on behalf of the Jazz Reggae Festival. I am on the outreach team with the JRF board and I wanted to speak a little today about why I chose to be here. Last year was the first time I attended JRF and it brought me immense joy, not just from having the different artists here, but from the community that gathers to see it all. My friends, family came down and showed pictures of my friends being at this festival at only 3 years old. For decades, this festival has brought families together, friendships closer, and shown people the art of speaking through your music. This festival is for students, by students, and we would greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker on this side.
All right, I just wanted to talk about JRF, and I'm not a member of the organization, but I'm a big fan of the event. I think it's one of the best student events on campus, and and I think that any more funding that can be allocated to them should be. I have friends in it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hey, my name is Max Hernandez, and I'm a staffer at the Student Housing Committee of the TSR. I just want to reiterate my support for the Bruin Family and Friends Day. It's very important in building community, showing the accessibility of higher education for youth, and providing a celebration of often unconsidered and underrepresented parenting scholars. We're being very intentional on supporting students with dependence, and it's going to be a very big event. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, thank you.
You. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Neha. I'm a third year political science and economics major. I'm here as the director of student housing for the TSR committee or commission. I just here to reiterate my support for Bruin Family and Friends Day. If any of you guys were at the Winter Warmth event in the past December, it was a really nice event hosted by Bruin Parenting Scholars and us. The whole point is to generate community for students with dependents that are often underrepresented in these kinds of spaces, especially because the event falls the day before Mother's Day. The point is to create community for students that don't have that ability. We're hosting it entirely with them in mind. We're working with them when planning the event. All of the activities are catered towards what they actually want. So that's a pretty big focus. And then in terms of actual housing placements, we are focusing on education for transfers as well as options for LLCs, UAs, off campus, everything like that. So it's kind of a dual event focused on both housing as well as creating a sense of community for students with dependents and transfers as well. So I really ask that you guys support that event. We'll be giving a presentation for surplus later on, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Cameron and I'm a senior here. I've been on the JRF team for 3 years now, and I've had the privilege of witnessing the amazing impact our event has had on the community. I've come across so many creative and talented people in my time, people that I've stayed in contact with over the years. I've met some of my best friends here, and I've grown in so many ways, personally and professionally. I really noticed the significance of the festival when we had to cancel it in my sophomore year. I had talked to so many people who relayed their experiences to me and expressed how much they missed our presence in that year, including my own mom, who told me about when she would come with her friends to JRF. Being on the vendors team and speaking to our vendors, hearing how much they look forward to the festival and plan ahead for it is truly moving, and it motivates me to put my best foot forward in planning the event. It also reminds me how much our event helps to support people's businesses and their income. The spirit of JRF is about representation, and I'm honored to be able to help showcase such unique and spirited businesses. I've tried to be very involved in my time at UCLA, and I can truly say that I've seen so much love and strength in the community that JRF has fostered. I would hate to see this impact dimmed or taken away because it isn't just about the music, it is so much more than that. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chizzy, and I'm a fourth year representing Jazz Reggae Fest, applying for the surplus. Last year was my first year at Jazz Reggae Festival after 2 years of missed opportunities, and had experienced the most community-focused music event that I have ever been to ever. The music, the food, the culture that I experienced at this event was so transformative that I made it a point to join in my senior year. This has enhanced my experience as a student who often seeks out spaces welcoming of entertainment, art, music, and culture, as well as the community that comes with it. The funding would be would be of tremendous help for carrying this community event on. We as a team are dedicated to seeing this festival through, and being the digital design admin, I would love to continue the development of the art direction of this festival. Through past years, we've seen how JRF has grown since it's first started 38 years ago. And yeah, just continue the archive of JRF. If you go on YouTube, you could probably see when JRF was on that big like intramural field and had like a bunch of people just, like at this community event. And we would just like to continue having that space for not only just Bruins, but people in the greater Los Angeles area. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Patience. I'm a fourth year and I'm also speaking on behalf of JRF. My first time being a part of JRF was actually last year, and I was on the board, and I applied just because of recommendations, but I also was looking for like a creative outlet as a STEM major, and JRF just offered that space for students who look like me. Additionally, as an out-of-state student, I spend a lot of 3-day weekends here. So it was kind of just like an opportunity for me to take in like all the activities going on. And it was like probably the best decision I've made, because JRF is one of those festivals where you're not just there for the music, but you're also there supporting local vendors. You get to be involved in like interactive things like the art murals, enjoy food. So I would say like I've truly built a family at JRF, and I would just love to keep the legacy going.
Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I've been a part of JRF for the past 3 years. I was volunteering my first year, and I kind of want to highlight the importance or the enrichment that comes from the Jazz Reggae Festival. Most, if not all, of the activations are from students and or student organizations on campus. So truly, the people that are gaining like professionally and kind of developing their skills. Like if you talk about it from artistic perspective, we have student artists. If you're talking about it from a student org perspective, we have a multitude of varying student orgs ranging from fashion to environmental justice through botany, and then also just from alumni that are now vendors at the event. So I think if you're looking at it from a perspective of how we want to enrich our students and kind of create a space where students from across campus and from across different cultures and different spaces come together, it's really at a festival like the Jazz Reggae Fest. Because if you're looking at many events, you're not seeing events that bring in like thousands of people like Jazz Reggae Fest might be. And if you're giving, I'm on the sustainability team, and basically all of our activations are free. And to make these things free, we obviously need funding. So if we're giving out free fruit to promote sustainable living and sustainable gardening, funding helps with that. So I think just looking at it from how we want to help our students and how we want to expose our students to different cultures and different mediums of art and even just different professional pathways, because the people that are putting together the festival and allowing people to work at the festival are really developing themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yosan, and I'm also a senior speaking for JRF. JRF is truly one of the events that set UCLA apart from other schools in terms of community, and one of the most memorable experiences at UCLA was my freshman year when I got to meet so many different people who all came for the purpose of a shared love for jazz reggae artists, and I'm still friends with them to this day. I'm really grateful to be a part of JRF, and I'd love to continue bringing experiences like this to future students. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amory Samuels, and I'm an undergraduate student at UCLA. Although I am not a member of JRF, I have seen the influence that the festival has had on UCLA students and UCLA alum. This past MLK Day, I was at Lamert Park with my family, and I saw JRF members advertising the event, discussing it with a wide age range of people, including but not limited to people who used to go to JRF when they went to UCLA or other colleges in the neighboring areas who went because they had heard about it on their own campuses. Not only this, but JRF is filled with incredibly diverse styles of music and is even collaborating with groups like Coast Along, which is another event that many UCLA students attend and enjoy, and is actually happening this weekend. I went to JRF last year and saw so many diverse groups of people, beautiful forms of art, and small businesses selling products. Events like these help bring groups together and foster collaboration, which is extremely important given our current climate. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for speakers who are speaking to agenda items from this side, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mitch de Guzman, and I serve as the Internal Vice President of Samahang Filipino. Soon, Hannah, Sherry, and our Cultural Night Coordinator, Cody, will present to you the precarious financial situation that our Cultural Night is in. SPCN is one of the most complex, largest, and comprehensive cultural shows in the country. And with over 300 members, producing a show of this magnitude has become increasingly accessible for our community due to rising costs. From securing Royce Hall to navigating decreasing allocations, our community feels as though our school is no longer supporting our ability to celebrate our rich cultural heritage. So, as our elected officials, we are here tonight to ask for your support. A vital part of making this production possible can be the visibility and accessibility provided by USAC. Through USAC funding, the perceptions of hundreds within our own community can begin to change today as they see, as our leadership can come together, working together, and as they can witness tangible results from this meeting alone. We've begun to meet, and we hope that this is not the end. We've, by working with our members and recognizing the work that they have put in, not only into our show, but also by organizing here today for something that we find deeply important, you can tangibly demonstrate the commitment you serve, the commitment you have to recognizing those that you serve. By supporting our surplus proposal, you can build a framework for outreach to other mother organizations, and each of which represent the rich and diverse communities on our campus. And not only did they elect you guys, but they have also become the eminent leaders on this campus, which empower the rich diversity and culture that makes our school the powerhouse that it is. For us, your endorsement would mean more than just funding, but it could also change the relationship between you and those that you seek to advocate for. And this would provide a foothold for our relationship going into the future. It would demonstrate how we can work collaboratively against the issues that we face, and it ensures that we all have a seat at the table that we deserve. Through your support, we can build a greater relationship between USAC and the communities that you seek to represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Council. My name is Lindsay Samble, Samahang Filipinos Administrative Coordinator. I want to begin by acknowledging you for recognizing the impact that SPCN has not only within Samahang Filipino, but across our broader community of mother organizations and student-initiated projects. The potential allocation of surplus funding towards SPCN is meaningful, and it will be directed directly supporting programming that so many students rely on to feel seen, supported in this community. But at the same time, we have to ask, at what cost do we have to continue advocating just to access the resources needed to sustain ourselves? This is not a new issue. Year after year, programs all across mother organizations and culture nights on campus have had to operate under conditions of uncertainty. These are not isolated moments, as we have seen tonight. They reflect a pattern of instability that has persisted across leadership transitions, and across generations of students. And to be clear, we recognize the efforts being made and the willingness to support. This is a broader issue rooted in institutional gaps within UCLA's administration, where student-initiated programs that serve historically underrepresented communities are not consistently resourced in the ways that reflect their impact. While we are grateful for the support being discussed today, one-time allocations do not address the root of the problem. They do not account for the sustained labor, planning, and emotional investment that goes into maintaining these programs year-round, and they do not prevent us from returning to the same position in future years, having to advocate again and again for what should have already been guaranteed. What we are calling for is not just for short-term relief, but long-term structural change. We want to move towards a model where mother organizations such as Samahang Filipino and USAC are working in continued collaboration, one that centers transparency, consistent communication, and proactive support throughout the year, not just in moments of crisis. Because ultimately, this is more than about funding, it is about sustainability. It is about ensuring that future student leaders are not inheriting the same challenges, the same burnout, and the same uncertainty that we have had to navigate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. We ask that you stay at 2 minutes, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ava Bell, and I'm an intern of Samahan Filipino here at UCLA, as well as an intern for our Retention and Access Project specifically. As an intern for our Retention Project, SPEAR, I have seen firsthand the impact our lack of support from this university has had on our programming and staff. Our student project staff are currently expected to sustain work on a volunteer basis, without compensation and without a project director. This has caused our staff to resort to using their own money to make our programming possible, as well as feeling consistent drain and burnout from having to balance being a student, as we all are, while also counseling approximately 250 students and providing for their academic, professional, and holistic wellness. The different mother orgs here at UCLA, which were created to support the historically marginalized communities, all used to have access and retention projects. And now those projects have either had to completely shut down or they are stretched to the limit, as our organization is. These orgs were created to serve students and prioritize retention for communities in an institution that was not built for us, and our ability to uplift our community has been continuously threatened. We were here last year, we were here last week, we are here now because we continuously have to advocate for support that we should be guaranteed. We appreciate the meeting that has happened toward allocating surplus funding for SPCN and PGRAD, and we will be presenting today as we need those efforts to continue. In addition to that, however, we are asking for the CRC and SIOC allocation of back pay for CRC/SIOC project staff to compensate them for fall and winter quarter, as our retention and access projects are greatly lacking the support that they need. As your peers, we recognize your positionality within USAC under a university administration that continues to perpetuate student neglect. However, as your constituents, it is essential that we advocate not only for our own community, but also in solidarity with other marginalized communities across campus. Thank you.
Next speaker.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Aiden, a member of SPACE, PTSP, and Anakba in UCLA. Echoing SP's demands, I would like to share how the budget cuts from SP has specifically affected the Filipino Transfer Student Partnership, PTSP, who shares their funding along with Spear and SPACE. I would like to speak on behalf of PTSP's president who wanted to share this message. PTSP already struggles and receives little to no direct funding, and once a year programs like Student Empowerment Networking Day, SEND, have been one of the only ways we're able to access resources to support our transfer community who represent over 1/3 of our undergraduate community. But SEND is not just a program. It plays a critical role in admissions by helping prospective and incoming transfer students see themselves at UCLA, connect with the community, and feel confident choosing to attend. With SEND's budget cut by about 70%, even that limited support is being taken away from us. PTSP members are the ones doing the work to create SEND and make Transfer Bruin Day meaningful for our incoming students. We build our own programming, do outreach, and create community for transfer students, yet we're not being supported financially. This reflects a larger issue. Many of our students are first generation and come from historically underrepresented communities who are already facing financial barriers. As transfer students, we have less time and fewer resources to build community, and these cuts make that even harder. We are asking not only for SEND funding to be restored, but for consistent direct funding for transfer student organizations like PTSP. If our work is essential to this campus, it should be funded that way. We would like to demand support from USAC and call for them to support its transfer students and uplift SP and PTSP's demands against the UC's neglect. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good evening, Council. I'm happy to be here again. My name is Jericho. I'm a fourth-year undergraduate student, and I'm a member of Anakbayan UCLA. We're here again to show our support for Samahang Pilipino's proposal, and as I call upon USAC to work with them to set up a meeting with Student Affairs in order to discuss back pay for SP's outreach, access, and retention programs, Space and Spear, as my peers have spoke about, and to allow the voices of students affected by funding cuts to these student-initiated projects to be heard. As we shared last week, we know that the university's attacks on the student-initiated projects only reflects its priorities of profit over the needs of marginalized communities on campus. Importantly, we know that the attacks on accessible, pro-people, culturally relevant education continue to occur as UCLA capitulates to the Trump administration's fascist attacks on education. And based on what folks have been sharing at public comment today, we know that there's an increasingly limited pool of funding for programs and services that makes UCLA relevant and accessible for historically marginalized students. It is only a reflection of the fact that these issues are occurring in the bigger picture that requires change beyond what we can achieve and think about in this room. So we're calling upon folks to join us together and to think through new ways to address these issues. I know that many of you seek to stand on the side of justice and are actively facing repression because of it. It only shows that your positions on this council have power, right? And however, we know that to address the root of both the attacks on education that we're facing and also the repression that you're facing, that we need to stand together to build a united front against the root of these issues. So with that, we echo SP's concerns and demands and call on USAC to use your elected position on this council to uphold your responsibility to us students and uplift our demands and fight for a pro-people education by working with us to set up a meeting with Student Affairs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If you have already spoken, we're gonna have to ask you to leave the room to allow new students to come in and give public comment until the session is closed. Thank you so much. Pamela, could you? Pamela. Oh, Pamela, can you let them know that if they're here to give a presentation for the proposals that they can stay? They just have to wait out there. And they can come back after public comment. Thank you. All right, we will return to public comments. If you were not here, I am prioritizing public comments for agenda items. This includes surplus proposals, if you're here to talk about it, or if you're here just to give public comment. We are prioritizing public comments for agenda items. So if you are here to comment on an agenda item, please raise your hand. Yes, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Laylee, and I'm part of the Jazz Reggae Festival team, asking for surplus. Right now, more than ever, UCLA and the larger LA need to come together in a space where diversity isn't just talked about, but actually experienced in person. JRF is a celebration of musical genres and communities created from resilience that have histories of misrepresentation, appropriation, and erasure. Jazz and reggae and everything they represent reflect the resilience and strengths that's within us as students and in UCLA too. And we need to be reminded of that. JRF has in the past and right now the possibility of creating an event that celebrates our community despite hardship. Continuing to fund JRF means continuing to invest in UCLA students and remind us of who we are. Visibility isn't enough. Our diversity is worth celebrating. And personally, I am a sophomore right now, and last year was obviously my first year, but I think coming to UCLA, a big campus, you tend to get lost in the crowd. But I think Jazz Reggae Festival last year was the first time that I actually felt like I was a part of a home, and the people around me, even though I didn't know them or they were strangers or visitors or parents, I just felt like I was home, and these were my community. And now that I'm just honored that I'm a part of the team and have met the amazing people that have made it possible. So I think it's just the idea that it can't live up to what it can and should be makes me sad for this year and the future years. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker. Wait, sorry. You can come up.
Hi, my name is Graciela. I am a third year and I'll be speaking on behalf of JRF as well. As co-chief of staff of the Cultural Affairs Commission, I've witnessed staff and directors work tirelessly to cultivate an event that represents a multitude of cultures, especially underrepresented ones here on this campus. This festival truly has the power to connect students across all different cultures, as both jazz and reggae transcend barriers and create community in any space. JRF personally was what brought me to CAC and made me feel more connected to the UCLA community at a time where people like me were increasingly becoming misrepresented on this campus. I'm sure many students can relate to this experience of not knowing where you fit in on campus, but JRF is truly the only experience where students, or one of the only experiences where students could, from various cultures, can find and celebrate community in a language that transcends hatred, dissent, and prejudice. JRF and CAC as a whole continuously work with a multitude of cultural organizations to ensure that they are accurately represented at this institution. JRF is a legacy worth protecting, and your continued support would be deeply appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. I ask our council members to please pay respect to our speakers. Thank you. Next speaker in regards to an agenda item.
Hi, I'm Savannah, and I'm a part of JRF. I stumbled upon JRF last year, and I immediately felt the warmth and community that JRF is meant to cultivate. I remember calling my mom on the walk back to my dorm and talking to her for like 30 minutes about how I just felt at home and how it reminded me of like a drum circle that I have like in my neighborhood in LA. And as soon as JRF applications opened, I made sure to apply because I wanted to be a part of cultivating this community. And while I loved feeling connected to my own culture at JRF, my favorite thing about the event was that I was able to engage with other cultures through food, art, music, and even dance. And as a public event, JRF truly connects UCLA students with the larger LA community. And I love that that community expands past Westwood and goes into South LA and just so many other, reaches so far in LA. And the fact that people just drive from so many different neighborhoods to come and experience that, I think just shows the effect that it has on not only UCLA students, but also just the larger community. And I think a lot of events aren't able to have that same amount of reach. So I really hope that we're able to recreate what we had last year and build upon it. Yeah.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Mika. I'm a second year undergraduate student here, and I'm also representing the Jazz Reggae Festival. Similar to Laylee, Savannah, and many others who have come before me, I stumbled upon Jazz Reggae Fest last year. And I was so excited to find a space that really made me feel like I belong. As a first year, UCLA is a very diverse institution, but finding a space where music and culture that is specifically representing me was a very special experience. So I really hope that we will be able to continue growing this festival. I was so inspired by my experience last year that I joined the Cultural Affairs Commission this year because I wanted to contribute to creating spaces where people like me could continue to feel inspired. And so not only has the Jazz Reggae Festival connected me to my culture, it has also connected me to the larger undergraduate population because I was able to join a club and continue learning about myself and my peers, which was very special. So I really hope that with the budget allocation, we will be able to continue this event because it has existed long before I have been a student here, and I hope it will exist long after I have graduated. And I thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Can you please raise your hand if you're here for an agenda item, public comments?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay. I'm a fourth year comp bio major at UCLA, and I'm co-director of Jazz Reggae Fest this year. I'll keep it short because we're going to do a presentation later, but I just wanted to say that as someone who's not only out of state, but out of country, Jazz Reggae Fest is truly a community that I found home in. There have been many times when I've spent long weekends by myself without my family. And I think having Memorial Day weekend dedicated to JRF has been incredibly special for me. My first year of JRF, I've been part of this organization for 3 years. And my first year, the event was unfortunately canceled. But being able to see how this impacted so much of our community last year was so special. As part of the sustainability committee, I went out into LA. I searched for vendors. I communicated with so many different people across our city. And I realized how much people care about Jazz Reggae Fest. People who are older than me, people who, for some, are their parents, their siblings. It was really important for me to be able to see that and to be able to find home, especially as someone who's moved around a lot. And I also just wanted to say that seeing so many of our staff come forward and speak, as well as different people who are outside of JRF, I know this festival has impacted me in similar ways that it's impacted them. And it's honestly been so beautiful to see that. It's such an honor to be the co-director of Jazz Reggae Fest, and I'm really excited to give you guys our proposal. I think we have a lot of initiatives for how we're planning to improve the UCLA community and have direct benefits towards students. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you to everyone who spoke so far.
Thank you. Now, my final call to if you are here for comment on agenda item. Okay, please raise your hand if you're here to give public comment on a non-agenda item. Okay, I'll begin with you, and then you, and then you in the back, and then we'll slowly transition.
Hello. So, starting now. UCLA's motto is "Let there be light." Are USAC's actions consistent with this message? On April 14th, 10 of you voted to issue a statement condemning an event with Omar Shemtov, an Israeli hostage captured on October 7th. At the event, he told his story in vivid detail, from the tragedy of witnessing the massacre of his fellow partygoers as he tried to flee, to the grueling enslavement he faced at the hands of his captors, to the triumph of being set free after 505 days of agony. He shared his story of light in a world of darkness. In your letter, you criticize elevating a single narrative. I agree that it is wrong to elevate a single narrative. Your letter elevates the challenges faced by Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim students without mention of Jewish students or students who support Israel. What you fail to understand is that Omar's story does not exist at the expense of others. Instead, his bravery is an inspiration to all students, whether they be Israeli or Palestinian. His plight transcends a single narrative despite your attempts to characterize his speech as one-sided. I was in attendance as you raised your hands in condemnation. 3 of you were laughing. I immediately informed the Jewish community at UCLA. You owe both us and the community at large an apology for condemning an event that provides hope in a world of darkness.
I'm going to ask the audience that there were no clapping or no outbursts allowed. If we are going to continue like this, we will go into recess. Next speaker up here.
I stand here today to speak about the April 14th letter.
Can you please raise your microphone?
I stand here today to speak against the April 14th letter about the event with former Israeli hostage Omer Shemtov. This letter says that it affirms the humanity of all people impacted by violence, but that falls apart the moment it condemns an event featuring a man who was kidnapped and held hostage. Omer Shemtov is not a narrative. He is a human. He's a victim. Treating his suffering like a political problem is shameful. You can support Palestinian students without dehumanizing a hostage. You can care about war and still show basic humanity to someone who survived horrific violence. Condemning a hostage for speaking is not moral leadership, it's selective empathy. This council has sent a clear message to Jewish students. Your suffering will be dismissed, your voices will be silenced, and your humanity will be treated as conditional. As such, the council is complicit with a long and ugly history of Jewish suffering. Jewish students urge the council to reflect seriously on this decision.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Jolene Bonaventura, and I work on behalf of SPEAR as a counselor. And I would just like to share my personal experiences being a counselor and why we are advocating so much for funding for our project and for back pay. I counsel students on my caseload every week, and I spend 15 to 20 hours a week, sometimes even more than that, counseling my students and supporting them in every way that I can, and working hard to build these positive relationships with my students is something that I take great passion in and has a genuine impact on the Filipinx population here. So Samahang Filipino asks y'all to work with us to secure the funding that would deeply help our projects and secure that back pay for fall and winter quarter that we genuinely believe that is very deserved. Many of our students, including my own personal students, book sessions every week to get that support that they need. And it isn't just academic support that we provide them with, but personal support that that really helps them get through their time here at UCLA. And the goal of our project is to reach 100% retention for Filipinx students here. And as student-led, student-initiated projects, we really need the support and the funding in order to pour our all into serving our project and serving the students that we are basically volunteering to counsel. And it's hard for us when it is very passionate. I mean, we're very passionate about what we do, but we're experiencing severe burnout for what we love to do. So we hope that we can continue working together and for funding, to secure the funding that we need for Samhang Filipino and the rest of our projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you please remember to sign in, by the way? Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Ruben Browdy. I'm a third-year political science student here. I'm here to speak about the April 14th comment made regarding Omer Shemtov. I would like to read the comment that was provided by USAC. Universities must not be complicit in the production or amplification of one-sided narratives that erase systems of oppression and occupation. This comment single-handedly delegitimizes any pro-Israel argument. It is guilty of picking a side. Many people, for example, Rudy Rockman, a former alumni of UCLA, has started multiple organizations that are pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel. What this comment does not unify anyone. It polarizes the situation even more to new extremes that we haven't even seen yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. I believe I don't know if there's on this side. Okay, next. We'll transition over to here.
Hi, my name is Mayan, and I, among many other students, were responsible for bringing Omer Shemtov to UCLA. We worked on this event for 6 months without any UCLA institutional influence or involvement. There was no aspect of the event that was funded by UCLA departments and thus did not spend any students' tuition. The only department that was affiliated with this event is the Nazarian Center, which only promoted it through their newsletter and accompanying logo. This was student-led. We saw the value of platforming a civilian, a 20-year-old, whose human rights and dignity were stripped. Omer Shemtov was held hostage for 505 days in the tunnels of Gaza, was starved and tortured. By no means has he ever claimed to represent the Israeli government. Condemning a civilian for sharing his trauma is inappropriate and dismissive. All sides of a story deserve to be heard. But that does not mean, when one is platformed, that it is invalidating the other. This resolution that was unfortunately passed is at complete odds with the principles of free expression that universities are meant to uphold. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. I don't know if the last speaker signed in, if you want to sign in.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm also an undergraduate student here at UCLA, and I had the honor of being part of the team to bring Omer Shemtov to UCLA last week. Along with about a dozen student organizations, we worked together to organize this event for over 6 months, like Mayan said. Omer is an incredible human being, and it was an honor to have him here. A lot of our peers just spoke about the Jazz Reggae Festival. It's a wonderful event highlighting music, bringing light, bringing a community together, and I love that. That's what Omer stands for. He was taken hostage at a music festival, just like the one that thousands of students went to this past weekend, the weekend before. He was 20 years old, just like me. It was heartbreaking to see that USAC came together and voted to say that this event, which is intended to bring light, to share a story, to share a trauma that someone has overcome, and to spread light and build a community, that has been condemned by a student organization that's supposed to be reflective of the student population. I find that absolutely heartbreaking, and I really hope that in the future, USAC can be considerate of all student perspectives. That's what the intention of this event was supposed to be. It was free and open to all students. Everyone on campus, everyone was invited. It was intended to be open for all, and that's what our student government should also be doing. It should be reflecting all perspectives, honoring all students, and being open to dialogue. Condemning an event, a student-led event, is unacceptable. We should be platforming all student events, just like the ones that are
trying to speak about gaining more funding. All these events are important for many reasons, and it's important that our student government understands that and respects all students. Thank you.
Thank you. I will extend the time to 8:35 for public comment. Next speaker, please.
See, can you guys hear me? You guys hear me? We're good? All right. Hello, council. My name is Amit Cohen, and I'm here to speak on the April 14th letter that USAC wrote. First off, they did the unthinkable. They published this letter condemning an event featuring Omer Shemtov, a former Israeli hostage kidnapped on October 7th from the Nova Peace Music Festival and held captive in Gaza for 505 days. Now, at this event, Omer detailed the horrors he faced on that dark day, how he ran away from Hamas terrorists while they're firing bullets at him, and how he saw his fellow partygoers drop to the floor, cold and lifeless. Now, while Omer shared his experiences at the Fowler Museum, USAC decided to condemn it. They decided that his story, his perspective, and the suffering of the Jewish community are not compatible for the school. Now, on top of that, members of this community smirked and giggled as they raised their hands in condemnation of this event. How? How can you giggle? How can you smirk at someone who got kidnapped? How can you laugh at the community's pain and trauma, a community that you are all elected to represent? Now, knowing this, I can unanimously confirm that if this happened to me, this happened to anyone in my community, you would not only condone this trauma, you would laugh at it. And because of that, I strongly affirm the fact that I say this. I am ashamed, and those that voted this, I'm ashamed that USAC made this thing. I am ashamed that you represent the UCLA undergraduate student population. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Danielle Abbott, and I am a third-year transfer student studying sociology. Personally, I find it very deeply disturbing that USAC labels Omer Shemtov's survival as, quote, a disregard for life. To me, targeting him based on his national origin is a clear violation of UCLA's non-discrimination policy. I don't see how you can claim to stand for humanity while you try to erase humanity of a man who survived over 500 days in captivity as a hostage. I believe as a sociology student that censorship is how democracy dies. It starts when you describe that the other perspectives are harmful. When I see you silencing Omer's message of hope, you're choosing an echo chamber over potential peace. I also know that earlier, the president's office stalled us to prevent us from getting seats for the public comment today. By dragging out this process, I believe that you and the administration violated the viewpoint neutrality policy, which I see this as a calculated move to ensure my voice could be silenced. Finally, it is very disheartening that you condemned a speech that you chose to not attend, despite you were specifically invited to be there, as all students were. I was there, and I heard the message of what he was saying about holding hope in total darkness. I don't think that you can judge what you refuse to show up in here. And I believe that your refusal to show up only deepens division on this campus. Thank you.
This is not a back and forth period, but I want to clarify the mention that I'm violating policy. I'm not violating any policy. I'm ensuring that every student has the opportunity to give public comment. I've extended public comment by 20 minutes, and if there are more students, I'm happy to extend public comment. I want every student to be heard. I do not want these accusations that I'm not letting students get their chance to speak. I really don't. I gave you all the opportunity to speak outside, and if you want to speak to me afterwards, I'm more than happy to. But I will not have this on the record that I have violated any policy. Next speaker.
Good evening. I'm here tonight as a UCLA
Hello. As a UCLA undergraduate student, as a former USAC council member who was victim to doxing last year for my pro-Palestinian advocacy to comment on the past week of events. I'm disgusted by the holding of an event with the former ILF soldier, Turning Point speaker, and conservative figure Omer Shemtov by several pro-Israel organizations and the Gen Rep 1 office. The settler state of Israel has been committing one of the most publicly publicized acts of genocide against Palestinians and their neighbors for nearly 2.5 years now. I personally know friends who can no longer return to their homes in occupied Palestine and whose family had been killed by the IOF while still being expected to continue attending classes, being involved in campus orgs, and overall contributing to student life here at UCLA because the university silences pro-Palestinian speech and ignores the suffering of those from the Swana region. To know that an officer of USAC whose stipend of over $10,000 that is sourced from student fees that I pay for through my tuition is using their elected position to platform proud supporters of genocide, white supremacy, and anti-Arab and anti-Black racism and label it as a productive dialogue meant to be inspiring makes me physically sick. But somehow even more alarming than this was the fact that several members of council were doxxed on Twitter by Stop Anti-Semitism, allowing for racism and threats of violence against our council members of color especially to be proliferated and platformed proudly on X. I know many of y'all may be scared, and again, speaking as someone who formerly was a victim of doxing, again, for similar experiences during my time in council, this does not mean it's the end of your lives. There is a way out of this. There is a way to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if by any means, again, many of you are my friends, would like to talk more about this, please, please, please reach out. But I just want to offer like a ray of hope that as someone who is victim of this type of violence, of doxing, that it is possible to see the other way. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Diego, I have a question. Can I respond to one thing about the doxing? Loud? Or
I
no?
prefer that we keep it to the end of the discussion.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I good? Is it 2 minutes going? Okay, perfect. I want to thank the previous speaker for being a sunshine ray, whatever. It's good to be calm while you speak, so I'll try to be my best to be a good teacher. The Omer Shemtov letter warns about one-sided narratives, and yet it's easily one of the most one-sided statements I've ever seen. You write that you affirm the humanity of all people impacted by violence. All people. So I kept looking for it. Where is the acknowledgement of Jewish students? Where is the acknowledgement of Israeli students? Where is October 7th, where over 1,200 people were murdered? It's not there. Where are over 250 hostages who were taken? Where's the Nova Festival, where people were dancing 1 second and then being hunted down the next? Where's Omer's story, the very person this event is about, who was kidnapped and held captive by Hamas terrorists for 505 days? It's not there either. So I ask you, USAC, what does all people really mean? Because right now, it feels like that's just virtue signaling, an embarrassing cover for an anti-Semitic letter that singles out Jewish people and the only Jewish state. And that's what makes this so painful. This wasn't a political panel. This wasn't a policy debate. This was a human being coming to share what he went through, recounting the worst experience of his life. And your response was to call that a selective narrative that should not be platformed. A hostage telling a story is now something that should be silenced? So I ask you, did you respond the same way to a victim who was Hispanic or Asian or Muslim? This letter was never about protecting students. It was about deciding which pain is allowed to be heard. And that is exactly what you claim to stand against. You also say this event contributes to students being marginalized, silenced, and harmed. But how does one side's experience shut out another? These are not mutually exclusive. UCLA is a place where people can listen to experiences, especially ones that are uncomfortable. If you disagree, you show up. You ask questions, you challenge it, you host something else. You don't try to shut it down, especially while claiming to defend open dialogue. You cannot call out one-sided narratives while writing one, and you cannot claim to protect all voices while actively trying to silence some. Because the moment you do that, the message becomes clear. Jewish and Israeli students do not matter. Thank you.
Next speaker. And can you please sign into the form?
On October 8th, 2023, UCLA's head of cultural affairs celebrated, saying that the rape and killing of civilians was liberation. 2 years later, the US government created a ceasefire that let for each hostage, dead and alive, to come home, and it allowed for Palestinians to go back to their homes. With this opportunity, UCLA had the opportunity to hear about a civilian kidnapped and held hostage. Instead of supporting victims, students at this school call this racist. Since when is being against kidnapping, torture, and forced starvation racist? While students tried to come here today to talk about it, the USAC president specifically tried to talk to us separately to keep us from entering public comment. We will not be silenced.
Again, clarifying, I did not stop you from entering public comment. If there are no speakers, I will end public comment.
That are waiting to comment virtually.
Tell me. Shira B, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Shira. I am an undergraduate psychobiology student. I also attended the Omer Shem Tov event on April 14th, and I was super disappointed by the Undergraduate Student Association Council's condemnation of the event. This event was nothing political until you guys made it. It was someone sharing their story. He's a human. He shared a story. People who wanted attended. If you didn't want to go, you didn't have to go. Um, Again, it was someone sharing their story. There was nothing political about it, and I'm disgusted by how the student association reacted to this. And I hope we can move forward in a way that prioritizes fairness and empathy for all students. Thank you.
Geneth Chavez.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Janeth Chavez, and I am a third-year student, transfer student parent at UCLA. I am in the sociology department and leader for Bruin Parenting Scholars. I'm here to advocate for the funding for Bruin Family and Friends Field Day. This is not just an event, but it is a critical support space for student parents. And this event will create something that many of us don't have on campus, which is a space where children are welcome and we build community, and where student parents can connect to resource and support systems that help us stay enrolled. It reduces isolation, it strengthens peer networking, and directly impacts belonging, mental health, and retention. This collaboration is also important because it brings together different student communities that are often navigating similar barriers, whether it's being a parent, a transfer student, first generation student. By working together, we're able to expand the outreach, share resources, and build a stronger, more inclusive support system across our campus. Uh, this moment is bigger than just an event. At this time, student parents are being impacted by the cuts of childcare support and ECE subsidies. Families are losing access and staff are being laid off. And many of us are questioning whether we can continue our education. So funding this event is not just about programming. It's about equality, visibility, and retention. We're asking USAC to fund this event and to recognize this is a part of a broader commitment to supporting student parents and ensuring that we are not left behind. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Joshua?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Williams. I'm a second year at UCLA undergrad, and I'm here to speak on behalf of JRF. For one, last year was my first. Since I'm going to my son, campus later,
Hey, Josh, we can't really hear you, and maybe it's your mic.
I feel like I said, I say something, some food, some countries from I take an up, it's almost African, because of some East African brothers and sisters. So, because I don't see what's up with me, see everything. Like, I just, as a person,
Hey, Joshua, we still can't hear you. I'm so sorry about that, but we're going to move on to the next speaker. Savannah, you may begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Stiles, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Jazz Reggae Festival. I actually first heard about JRF from my parents who attended in the 90s, and they would drive all the way down from San Diego just to be there. And that really just shows how impactful and well known this festival has been, not just on our campus specifically, but across generations. And now, as a student, I've had the opportunity to be a part of that same legacy for the past 3 years. And JRF has given me a platform to create meaningful impact through two genres that carry deep cultural, historical, and social significance. This festival is more than entertainment, and it's education, community, and representation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Tariq.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
My name is Tariq Ali, and I'm also representing Jazz Reggae Fest. As a kid, both of my parents lived in the LA area, and as did I, and we attended the Jazz Reggae Fest like annually. It's a part of my childhood. It's a part of them, their love, and it's a part of the community. And as I got into UCLA, I also joined Jazz Reggae Fest because I like enjoyed it as a kid, and I felt like it was my home away from home, a community that like really understood me as a Caribbean American student. And as I joined JRF, I feel like I met a lot of people that I want to keep around like forever. They are so creative and so amazing. And I feel like I've fostered a lot of career skills as well. Part of the art team, I'm an art major. I like coordinated a lot of events with a lot of artists that were local and kind of far out, and I feel like built skills that will aid me in my career. And I've seen that in graduates of JRF as well. And I think that it just builds community and it fosters togetherness, multiculturalism, appreciation for the arts in this trying time. I think it brings us together and deserves your support. Thank you.
Thank you. And this will be the final speaker. Janeth. Oh, sorry. Savannah Styles. Oh, sorry. Abigail. Abigail hasn't spoken.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abigail, and I'm a fourth-year history major here at UCLA. I am proud to be part of the team that hosted the April 14th event featuring Omer Shemtov. I found his testimony profoundly moving. Hearing a civilian speak about enduring over 500 days in captivity was not a political experience until it was made one. Hearing Omer's story was simply human. As a Jewish student on this campus, it held particular significance for me to see our community engage thoughtfully and respectfully by inviting a speaker to share his lived experience. It highlighted the importance of creating space on our campus for individuals to share their experiences, especially when they are difficult to hear. For that reason, I am utterly disappointed by USAC's decision to formally condemn this event, given that it was organized by students and that this decision appears to have been made without direct engagement with those involved or any meaningful dialogue. A university should be a place where multiple perspectives can coexist and where students are empowered to engage with ideas that matter to them.
Providing a platform for one individual story does not diminish others. Instead, it contributes to a more informed and empathetic community. At its core, this issue is not about agreement or disagreement with a particular speaker. It's about whether students are allowed to engage with complex human experiences without fear of institutional censorship. Upholding that principle is essential to maintaining a university environment grounded in intellectual integrity and mutual respect. I hope we can move forward in a way that more fully reflects the university's responsibility to foster thoughtful dialogue, intellectual openness, and respect for all members of this community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, I close public comment at 8:36 p.m. We will now move on to our contingency programming.
Hi, this week we had a total contingency program request of $31,650.75, and we recommend an allocation of $8,907.63 for 2 USAC entities and 48 non-USAC entities. I wanted to point out that due to the unprecedented volume of applications we've received in the past year, especially in the past few weeks, and in order to attempt to keep this fund open with budget remaining for the rest of the spring quarter, we did not allocate at all to any retreats or socials. And just for full transparency, FICOM will need to keep weekly allocations well below $9,000 each week in order to sustain the fund for the rest of spring quarter. And I pasted that in the chat, and I'm also happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? If not, can we please get a motion to approve contingency programming?
I motion to approve an allocation of $8,907.63 for 2 USAC entities and 48 non-USAC entities.
I second.
Daniel motions, Tommy seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All against and all abstaining. With a vote of 11 to 0, that contingency programming is approved. Next, we have SFS with Edison.
This week, SFS recommends an allocation of $7,065.49 to 3 USAC entities and 12 non-USAC entities.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, those will be approved. Next, we have SWC with Hannah.
The SWC Programming Fund recommends an allocation of $227.90 to 2 non-USAC entities.
Any questions? If not, we will approve those programming fund allocations. Next, we have ASRF and Travel Mini Grant with AAC.
I'll be presenting on behalf of AAC, but for ASRF, they recommend allocation of $2,000 to 4 non-USAC entities, and for Travel Grant Mini Fund, they recommend an allocation of $2,282 for 5 non-USAC entities.
If there are no questions, we will approve those. Next, we have ARC allocations.
ARC recommends an allocation of $1,681.74 to 1 non-USAC org.
Thank you. Next, we have TGIF.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Griffin, and I will be proxying for Joy tonight. The Green Initiative Fund allocated $38,455.84 to 5 non-USAC entities and 4 USAC entities.
Thank you. Right, next, is that discretionary item from last week? Or is that also there? The discretionary item under Espino's name? All right, we will strike that. Next, we will move on to officer reports. I ask everyone keep theirs written. Tommy? Or sorry, we will only cover executive. Yeah, exact, but I'm saying mine is written.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, guys. IVP has continued planning on the Festival of Unity, as well as the USAC Gala. Stay tuned for further communications on each of those events. We also have our bracelet making event today or not today, this week with institutionalized events. The post is up on our Instagram, so please make sure to check that out. And yeah.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep mine mostly written. We had Bruin Lobby Day this weekend, super successful, and then our identity-based lobby days all happened last week, and then we have our constitutional amendment. It's passing through Assembly Higher Ed right now. The hearing is next Tuesday, and so just trying to make sure that students know what the ACA is, and that's about it. Everything else is written.
We'll skip AC. Orlando?
Hello, everyone. Just a quick reminder that this Sunday at 11:59 is the deadline to submit for the Charles E. Young Humanitarian Award and the Westcom and the Volunteer Center applications for those registered groups that contribute to community service on and off our campus. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, or you can visit the SOL website with more information. Thanks.
Thank you, Lori. Or Lorelai, sorry.
You're good. Only reminder from me is that transition docs are due this Friday. I only have 4 submitted so far, so please submit if you haven't already. Again, this information is necessary to transition you from your roles currently to your successors. So please do that by Friday.
Thank you. Lori?
If I had a written report, mine would be written.
Jonathan?
Hey, hi, hello. Just a couple things from me. Art in the Union is now open here. All the art that you see on the walls in Kirkhoff and Ackerman are from Art in the Union. It's student art that gets submitted every year, and then one gets chosen to be put up in the Union permanently. The winner gets $600 cash, and of course, their piece of art displayed in the Union permanently. So those are now being accepted. We are going to run eligibility checks this week for elected officers. So if you anticipate you may have a problem with that, please reach out much sooner than later. Rosters are due next Friday. So that's for everyone, especially if you are providing NECs. But please make sure to check that active in Spring Week 5 box for each of the folks that is active in Spring Week 5 on your roster, and make sure everyone is accounted for. Some of you, specifically SWC and CSC, our student staff sent out an email to sponsored groups last week with a short survey just about their affiliations with national organizations. We're just trying to understand who has an affiliation with a national organization and how that impacts things like tax status, et cetera. So if you see any of those emails, any bumps you can do will help. And lastly, I just want to give you another reminder about your other term transition deadlines. I'll probably start doing this every other week until we get closer. But like Lorelai said, April 24th, your transition docs are due. May 22nd is when your social media accounts must be transferred over to the new person. May 25th is your last day of Kirkhoff office access. May 26th is the last day for you to host any events on behalf of your office. And May 30th is when your official email accounts must be transferred over to the new person. If you have any questions about those, always feel free to let us know. Otherwise, have a great week.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to surplus funding presentations. I believe Hiram has folks beginning. Whenever you may start your section. Oh, I will ask that if you are being joined by people to present, you get 20 minutes. That includes question and answers. If you are presenting by yourself, that includes only 10 minutes. And if you are presenting by yourself and I deem it, you only get 5 minutes. Sorry. So we will begin with Hiram. I know Hiram has someone. That section includes 20 minutes, and then when she's done, she can do, if she's doing by herself, she can do 10 minutes, so forth, so forth.
Okay, give me 1 second. I sent my presentations to you, Tommy. Can we start with, wait, hold on. Is Chanel in the attendees? Yeah. Yes, she is. I see her. Can you promote her, please? SCHINAL.
Raise your hand if you have someone here presenting with you. Like, that is not in USAC. Okay, so yes, after Hiram, how many do you have? No, I mean, how many, like, proposals do you have? Like, presentations? Just one? Okay, yeah, okay. Hannah? Oh,
Could you
just
also
one?
promote
Okay.
Trina? I don't know if she's on the.
So you'll go.
She's here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
You'll go next after.
Amazing. We'll just start with our end of year celebration presentation. Um, okay, I'm just gonna let Janelle and Trina take it away. Wait, are we good?
Yeah, I'm setting the timer.
Okay,
Can you
cool.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. So we're here today to promote for our end of year celebration with BPS and TSR. And just to let you all know, BPS is known as Broome Parenting Scholars, which is a student-led advocacy and social justice organization. We center parenting and caregiving students who are often overlooked in higher education. Our work is rooted in equity, visibility, and institutional change. And we're building a campus where students don't have to choose between their education and their families. Our advocacy is shaped by lived experience because many of us showing up in spaces like this comes with real tangible sacrifices, which I'll talk about. I'll give a little bit of my lived experience in a later slide. We're here today because we're not asking to be included. We are reshaping what inclusion looks like at UCLA. Next slide, please. So, parenting students are navigating academic demands, caregiving, and systemic barriers simultaneously. There are very few spaces on this campus that recognize students with their families. This event creates a space where students and their children are both seen and valued. We literally walk across a stage with our children hand in hand. There is no event like that on campus. That is creating a pathway for second generation approach. That is creating a pipeline to higher ed. Um, and I want to just kind of share my lived experience as a mother. Tonight, I was in one of my mandatory classes, evening classes. Being here tonight required much sacrifice from me. I'm enrolled in this mandatory evening class, and that conflicted with this hearing. I had to ask to leave early, not because it was convenient, but because advocacy and representation for our community matters. We don't have parenting students in these spaces. And so I make those sacrifices. And beyond that, participation in student government often does mean late nights, extended hearings. And for parenting students, showing up can look like being away from our children for nearly 12 hours, like I was myself today, running across campus to find a space, waiting hours just to be called to speak on behalf of this marginalized community, and then racing across town to get home and still be a parent to put food on the table for my daughter. This is not equitable. This is not an equitable experience, and that's why spaces like this matter most. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Could we?
It's taking, okay. I'm sorry. This event is in collaboration with the USAC Transfer Student Representative Committee. Parenting students are often transferred, non-traditional, and system impacted students. Supporting this event Is USAC fulfilling its role to represent underserved student populations? Representation in student government matters because without it, these realities remain invisible. If parenting students are not seen in these spaces, are not represented in these spaces, advocating, sharing, and pushing, then decisions continue to be made without us in mind. And even we're here today. I have my co-chair Trina online, and we also have our signatory Jeanette online. Each of us have our children here. And it's a very late night. So I just want to say supporting this event is how USAC turns representation into action and equity into practice. And then I want to invite my co-chair to also speak. And I thank you all for your time tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trina Rodriguez. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
We can.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I am a parenting student and I am non-traditional, formerly incarcerated, former foster care, all the things, but what I always say when I wake up in the morning, I'm always mommy first. Like that's the first thing I remember when my 2-year-old wakes me up in the morning. And I think that this event, it's not really so much as the event itself, but it's really the meaning of collaboration with USAC and knowing that we are supported as a marginalized community on campus. Being that there's so few student parents on campus, we really should be centering the students that are dying out here at UCLA, that are really just struggling to meet their day-to-day needs of themselves and their families. Of course, our kids always come first, and to be able to even achieve, a degree at UCLA is just so hard in and of itself. Like to complete, to finish is such a great, accomplishment that we should be celebrating. We are breaking barriers by getting these degrees, and we should be celebrated. And for us not to be able to have our kids with us at graduation is just like, it's ridiculous how we're treated at this university, because we are not just traditional students. We bring our communities with us. So I really want, USAC to honor this as a collaboration and as growth and moving forward together, and seeing the students that, that need the most help. We need y'all's help. We need your support. So I really thank you for giving us the time to share.
Thank you so much, Chanel and Trina, for taking the time out of your busy days to, come help me give this presentation. If we can move on to the next slide. This is just the budget breakdown of what we're asking for. I know the captions are kind of covering it, but we're asking for a total of $7,600. Most of these items are, things for families to incentivize them to come and attend. We have a photo booth, which honestly, I didn't even think about it this way until I met with Chanel and Trina the other week. But it's so impossible for, busy parenting students to get photos with their kids. Like my mom, she was a community college student while me and my twin brother were 6 years old. And it's like, I don't think I have a single photo with her where it's like me and my brother and my mom when we were that age while she was attending school. So something like as simple as a photo booth to us college students is so impactful to, students with dependents and student parents. And we're asking for funds to, go towards toys and just UCLA swag for, the children that are attending. And so I really hope you guys consider our proposal. I mean, that's kind of the end of the presentation, Kate, unless Chanel and Trina had anything they wanted to add on. But if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
No, we just really appreciate just understanding that, hey, we're all students here. The only difference is that we bring our kids with us.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Hiram. and to the BPS exec. Yeah, thank you so much. I think if you want to move on to your next presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Chanel and Trina again. We will move on to our next presentation, which is the Transfer Mingle presentation with the Transfer Student Center. If we can promote Sarah Mo and Mauricio, they should be in the attendees list. And yeah. What? Wait, I can't hear you. Oh, it should be viewable to all. Could we promote Sarah and Mauricio? Sorry, I know you're doing a lot.
Thank you so much. Sarah's here.
Hello. Huh? Mauricio. Yes. Mauric. There he is.
Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, I can hear you both. All right, so we've had Bruin Day. You know what's coming up? Transfer Bruin Day. What? I know. I'm gonna hand off the floor to Sarah and Mauricio to help me give this new Admit Transfer Mingle presentation.
Thank you so much, Hiram. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for your time. So today I'll be talking about the new Admit Transfer Mingle happening during Transfer Bruin Day from 3 to 4:30 p.m. at Poly. Shout out, Lori. Thank you. Next slide for me, please. So just to start us off, who are UCLA transfer students? This is a list of some of the identities in which we encompass. So of course, community college students. Over 40% of our students are first gen. Over 19%, I believe, are non-traditional students, meaning are parenting, as we discussed previously, international, financially independent students, veterans, commuters. We have system impacted, former foster youth, system impacted, like I mentioned, students in recovery, out-of-state students, a lot of the times adult learners / returning students. So these are just some of the identities that we cover, and I think it's really important to mention it before we go into the meat and potatoes of this presentation. Next slide for me, please. Okay, so what is Transfer Mingle? The new Admit Transfer Mingle is a signature event that we hold every year during Transfer Bruin Day. During this event, we give students the opportunity to meet and engage with other newly admitted transfer students and gain more familiarity with the transfer community. So during this event, we have the opportunity for students not only to build their networks, get to know one another, but also to discover upcoming opportunities like student leadership opportunities, jobs, internships that are available right around the corner so that they can take advantage of them right away. Next slide. So why is it very important? So because we are giving these students this opportunity, and oftentimes transfer students, when they come in, they feel like they don't have the chance or the opportunity to take full advantage of everything available at UCLA. It's often an overlooked UCLA identity, and not everyone keeps in mind the timeline that a transfer student has to stick with in order to graduate within that 2-year mark. And some students have to take a little bit more time, and that's totally fine. But typically, UCLA is hoping for students to graduate within that 2-year mark. And to ensure that these students get the most out of their experience, we want to ensure that these students have the opportunity to talk to others, including, for example, one prominent one that talks to students a lot during Transfer Bruin Day and during Transfer Mingle is the Transfer Summer Program from AAP. And this is a really important, nationally recognized program where students have the opportunity to stay during the summer and get to know of all the resources at UCLA, knock out some classes, start off with a good GPA before the start of school. Next slide. Another really important thing of why this event is important, we oftentimes get a lot of students who come alone to Transfer Mingle. They oftentimes can be the only person who got admitted from their community college. They can be from a very rural part of California or even the country. And this gives them the opportunity to network, make friends, find roommates. And this also is the first opportunity for these students to get to know different offices like the USAC offices and the mother orgs. Of course, USAC and mother orgs will be invited just as how they have been in the past. I will also mention that for transfer students, it's difficult to break into these already formed friend groups that have been forming at UCLA. Let's say from someone who has come in as a freshman, they've been here already 2 years, and they typically already have their networks formed. So this again gives opportunity for these students to build those networks before the start of the year. Next slide. So we will be partnering with the TSR, of course, and we're going to do things like plan logistics, of course, promote the event, staff event activities, answer student questions, answer parent questions as well, and then inform students on how they can get involved with USAC, and then promote resources for all the transfer students that are available. Next slide. Thank you. And this is how USAC can help. So just full transparency on the event. So the space, shout out UCLA Rec. Thank you, Lori. It's going to cost us about $4,000. That is what we have already secured. But we would like to add some additional things, and just based on how our budget works, we may not be able to do the following, and we would like to make an effort to try to get students these nice additions to our event, because again, it's an overlooked UCLA identity, and we want to make sure that the students feel special when they come in. So the next item is going to be the fruit cart that we want to invite. It's a locally owned business, Alfredo's Fruits. He comes in, he's going to make fruit cups with chamoy and tamarindo. So that costs about $3,000, and it's for 500 students. Oh, one thing I didn't mention previously, historically, we've had about 800 slots opened for students to RSVP for the event. We have maxed out our RSVP every single year, and being in Poly Pavilion allows us to bump it up to over, I think it's 1,200 spots for students to come. So we're hoping to not only do that, but get this as well. Another thing we want to do is get a photo booth and photo kiosk, give people the opportunity to take photos with their family, their friends. It's a really big accomplishment that they have. That costs about $1,000. And then last but not least, a last thing is getting some stickers to help promote the transfer identity, UCLA to our transfer students. And that's the cost right there. It's going to be around 1,000 stickers, $200, around 20 cents per item. And in total, all of these things that we're asking for is about $8,037. So any amount will help. We'll take anything. And then we'll make sure to give it to our transfer students so that they feel nice and welcome here. So next slide. And here's a quote that I wanted to put on the slide, but if we ignore transfer students, we're continuing to disadvantage many students who have disadvantaged their whole lives. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then next slide.
I think that's it. Oh,
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you all.
All right. Thank you so much, Yasir.
Sarah, do you have anything to add on?
I just wanted to add on that really a big goal, Mauricio said this, but a really big goal of this event is also to close the involvement and leadership gap with transfer students, to make sure that they see ways to get involved in campus right away. Because we know that a lot of offices pick people up over the summer. We've had a lot of students go out for USAC positions, for example, or get involved in student orgs they met at this event in years past. And so that is definitely a really big drive for us hosting this event, because they've been exploring campus resources all day. We really want to put the emphasis on the tables present on ways to get involved, paid student positions on campus, and leadership roles. So things like Leadership Academy will be there, student organizations, as well as some offices. We've actually already had several offices reach out to us asking to table at this event because they really love hiring transfers they've met at it. And then my final thought is we really have met a lot of students in the past. That's why we've continued this event, who told us that this event helped them make the decision to go to UCLA because they realized that they could see themselves here, and getting to meet other student leaders really put them over the top of realizing what a supportive community it is. Additionally, we've had a lot of students come back to us and tell us that they made friends, they made roommates, they decided to carpool with people they met at this event. And it's really a credit to our student staff who helped plan this event that they create engaging ways for people to make those intentional connections. Happy to field any questions as well if there's anything that you'd like to know more about.
Yeah. And like, again, Transfer Mingle is such a important part of the transfer student experience. And I know, when we were first, I guess, sworn in as USAC officers, I feel as though in my one-on-one conversations I've had with many of you that we all collectively prioritize, the transfer student experience and making sure that transfer students feel as though they have the capability and the capacity to get involved at the UCLA level, especially since we only have 2 years here. It's so, so, so important for us to just get started right away. And Transfer Mingle is one of the first events that actually, lets new transfer students see what UCLA is all about and what awesome stuff our student organizations are doing. I know that I hate to keep bringing up photo booths, but the photo booth will have like, we can put like USAC information on it so students know to, that they can look into USAC and see all the cool stuff that we're doing and the events we're putting on. So it's all good stuff, especially for exposure on both sides, really, for USAC to get more transfer students to join and for more transfer students to know that they can play a role in the 2 years that they have here. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Okay. Thank you so much, Zatien. All right. Thank you so much to the presenters. Do you have another one here?
I have 2 more.
Okay, so I just got word from Jonathan, from Pamela, that the building is going to close at 9:45 because they're setting up early tomorrow morning. So what I would recommend is us approving BOD and surplus restricted funds. Yeah, I don't know. I just found out about this. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Hey, so if we're aware of like this building closure, can we handle surplus next week when there is no closure on a Tuesday? Like, is there anything barring us from doing that? Just because I feel like
We can do proposals next week. Like we can continue all of this next week. We can lengthen next week. We were already gonna go on for a long time next week, so we can just present the proposals next week. Yeah. Yeah, we
okay,
can do next week virtual.
we'll do it virtual then probably, so that
Okay.
way we don't run into this.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I feel kind of rude because I had one of my can I just do one more presentation?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Wait,
Okay,
this is like
it'll be so
Wait. Okay,
this
like
this is really
Travis just said
disrespectful
no.
to everyone's time here. So many students
Yeah.
to do presentations, and I feel like everyone should be able to present tonight because these events are planned so far in advance. So whoever knew that this needs to be clean, like they were setting up for an event at 9:45, that should have been communicated much further in advance.
Do you know who like handles that?
I will refer your questions to Jessica or Pamela.
Jessica or Pamela? Is anyone
Can Pamela return to the room and
or
answer the
Jessica's
question?
here?
Okay. Who needs to do like presentations with people now? Okay. DT, I'm sorry, I'm like 5-10 minutes.
Can we talk to Jessica first? Because if we're not going to be
I
able
don't
to
want to
get
stall
everyone,
it. We can text with her offline. But DT, I would recommend starting now. I'll set your timer up, but
I
yeah.
think I truly feel like the people who are here sounds like TSR has 2 people who are ready to present. JRF is here, Samhang Filipino is here, all of those clubs.
I know I want everyone to present, but
Is there an alternate room we can go to that's available? Like, would that be possible?
they can get their full time next week. Like
What if we make the full thing virtual?
tomorrow, I mean next week?
No, like right now.
Can we do
I
that?
mean, yeah, but we would have to be walking outside and like, I mean, sure, but I would have to call recess for like 20 minutes. If you all want to find a spot, I don't want to. They can't be in this building.
Oh, because they have to leave. They don't have access.
Yeah, everyone has to leave.
And they have to go home.
Like, I would want everyone to get a full presentation next week. I just didn't think we expected this much public comment today.
Can we open it up for council discussion?
I don't want to take up time. Like, we have to leave.
Divine.
Hello. Wait, Divine. Well, okay, I think for the JRF, like there's only 2 people in person that need to be here to present anyways. So like, would we, and then they said that everyone else is on Zoom anyway. So would we just be able to continue? I don't know, it just feels so disrespectful. Like I have parenting scholars with kids that are waiting to present for my last one. And then I have a photographer that I invited. And we have, again, so many students that came in. And so would it be possible for just, I don't know.
I'm
like,
not the one. It's all you. It's everyone here. But we just need to approve BOT. Like, sorry, I feel like I had no say in this. I just found out. So we can vote on it. I don't know. Like, I just need us to vote for BOT and for surplus. Like, I'm sorry. I really wish I knew. I just didn't. I just found out right now. So what? Like,
Right.
we need to like
You
come
guys
up
would
with a
love to
solution
do it
now.
next week.
Lori?
We can go to Poly and everyone can be on Zoom. I just can't do this Zoom setup. So if we just want to walk 5 minutes and go virtual, we can do that.
I can just call us for recess and we come back at what, 9:35, 9:30?
Can we just stay in here?
So, sorry, when I'm hearing JRF is the only in-person group.
Yep. Yes, but you would get 5 minutes max. That's why I would rather you get your full proposal, and then I know Jack from Elections Board is also here in person. Jack, I don't know. Yeah, but would you prefer to give your full present? I know you worked on it. I'm gonna give it to the council members if they would like to, I'll give you the vote. The vote is motion to put in a recess and we walk into Poly. So if you vote yes on that, you agree with that, and everyone gets to finish their presentation. If you think we should just do a full presentations next week, vote no on that. I hope that makes sense. I want to give everyone the option. So, yeah, if we move to Poly, we can, everyone would,
Do you need someone to motion?
yes.
Motion to move the meeting, the USAC
To
meeting.
pause, to recess.
Motion to go to recess. Is that all I have to say?
So 9:30.
Till 9:30.
9:35. 9:35. Sorry.
9:35. Motion to go into recess until 9:35.
Second.
Please raise your hands. You can vote however you want. Like, you can vote however you want. Yeah. Voting no would mean everyone does no presentations and we do full presentations next week.
Can we
That's what
motion
they-
for recess at 9:45 and then
Yeah.
move? And then so they continue their presentation right now and we motion for a recess at 9:45 instead of right now?
Yeah, we're motioning to go to Poly and do all of the presentations.
No, but yeah, why can't we do a recess at 9:45 so that the people in person can
Yeah, sure, but
present
we
in
would still have
person?
to leave, and by 9:45 we would have to be gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
but let's do that after
Okay.
the people.
Wait, can I do a new motion? Hi, I motion to move into recess at 9:45 until 10:05, so that way we can maximize the use of this room.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. Please lower your hands. All against and all abstaining with a vote of 12 to 0 to 0. We will go into recess at 9:45 and move into Poly. Okay, so who I think
Can I kindly ask for JRF to go first? Because I know we have like a big ask and I really want y'all to understand where we're coming from with this.
I mean, I'll allow it for 10 minutes.
But it's your time at the mic.
Do you want to wait 1 second? I want to pull up your presentation. Divine, did you send?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a long night, but hopefully these colorful slides will wake everyone up. Yep. Well, okay. As the slides are coming up, my name is Tara Moore. I'm Lindsay Land. And we're both the co-directors of the UCLA Jazz and Reggae Festival.
So we're here on behalf of Cultural Affairs Commission to present our surplus proposal for a Jazz and Reggae Festival at UCLA, one of our campus's most historic and impactful student-run events. We're really excited to explain what JRF is and share why this surplus funding is so crucial. Cool. So close, so close.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Just learned your name. Okay. All right, cool. So then do you mind sending us to the next slide, please? I believe we're just on the next one over. Perfect. Okay, so cool. Founded in 1986, Jazz Reggae Festival, or as we call it, JRF, has been a cornerstone of the UCLA culture for nearly 4 decades. And notably, it's the second largest student-run festival in the entire nation. At its peak, JRF brought together over 300,000 attendees and hosted legendary artists across generations. But what truly defines JRF is the experience that it creates. And this year, we're expanding even further with a fully student-centered stage, creating opportunities for current UCLA students and prospective students through partnerships with nonprofits like More in Music and Just Jazz, connecting with local high schools and bringing young artists onto campus. Because JRF has always been more than an event, it's a legacy. And for many of our staff and students at UCLA, JRF is deeply personal, as you guys heard during public comment. My own parents, those 2 beautiful people up there, actually met at JRF 21 years ago. That's when my mom went to UCLA. She's an alumna, and my dad went to Oxy. Boo! But the message still holds very, very true that JRF is and will always be a cornerstone of the UCLA experience, and it continues to shape how students connect to this campus. I myself am a testament to the power of JRF, the community it creates, the opportunity, the atmosphere, the families, the lives that it starts and nurtures and follows for a lifetime. And that's exactly why rebuilding JRF matters now more than ever.
And this is a legacy that directly impacts students. Could we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. In addition to hosting incredible artists, we also prioritize creating a welcoming and engaging community space. We've introduced the JRF Village, where students have access to a mix of food vendors curated by our staff in collaboration with different cultural organizations on campus, student-run businesses, art and craft vendors, and community organizations from across LA. Some examples include Imani Gardens, which provides free fruit cups to students, and Radical Library, initiated by rapper No Name, with whom we are collaborating to do a free book giveaway. We also integrate student-run live art installations, interactive spaces, and programming designed to bring students into the space, not just as attendees. What makes this really meaningful is that these spaces are free and accessible, ensuring that every student can participate in the cultural and creative space that we're building.
Now, next slide, please, Tommy. Thank you. So we're taking that platform even further this year by intentionally investing in student creators across this. Oh, this is the wrong
You
slide.
can stay on the previous one.
Oh, yes. Okay. Just starting from there, though. Ooh, can we go one back, please, Tommy? Thank you so much. Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but this includes expanding opportunities for student musicians to perform, not just in smaller stages, but on our main stage, our major stage. Student designers and entrepreneurs to showcase and sell their work, as Konani had mentioned earlier during public comment, and student artists to create live murals and installations in collaboration with the School of Arts and Architecture. We're also working very closely with the Herbie Hancock School of Music to mentor and bring in new student talent and hosting a Battle of the Bands on May 6th in Bruin Plaza. So I hope to see you guys all there, where students can actually earn the opportunity to perform alongside our established artists on our main stage. We're partnering with organizations like Coast Along to bring and align with broader student initiatives, working with student organizations like the IUSSC and companies like Our World to implement reusable serviceware and uphold sustainability. We're also collaborating with established local community companies like Neighbor Skate Club, bringing a half pipe to Bruin Plaza to work with our skate club. We truly aim to create a community space that has something for everyone, really reflecting the diversity of UCLA and the breadth of experiences that our campus has to offer every person here. So when we say JRF is student-driven, we mean it in a very real and tangible way. It's built by students, powered by students, and designed for students to really leave a mark on their UCLA experience.
You can go to the next slide. Thank you. After a brief pause in recent years, JRF returned in 2025, and with that, we were faced with the challenge of rebuilding in attendance, in partnerships, and in trust in our ambition. Even in our rebuilding phase, there's a clear momentum. We expect thousands of attendees, thank you. Damn, this is tall. Dozens of student organizations involved and an expanded network of collaborators across campus and the broader LA community.
Caliber of artists on staff from Terrace Martin, Eric Badu to
Hello.
Caesar,
Hello?
external events and organizations across LA. Thank you so much. Many very excitedly told us that JRF was one of the best memories during their time at UCLA. With music at our core, we really want to give something back to our student body by bringing artists to campus for whom they may not be able to afford a ticket under normal circumstances. And as we look ahead, maintaining that level of artistry is essential to JRF. Sorry, this is hard with a handheld mic now. But because now that you understand the scale, legacy, and the impact of JRF, it's important to recognize that delivering a festival of this caliber, especially in today's market, requires significant resources.
You can go to the next slide. Thank you. And that brings us to how we've approached this year's budget. We've been extremely intentional about minimizing costs wherever possible. We've secured over $10,000 through the TGIF Capital X Fund, which directly supports many aspects of our free programming in the JRF Village while still honoring our low waste goals. We've strategically reduced our venue costs to nearly match our annual funding allocated from CAC. With minimal supplemental funding, we can fully secure our 3 venue spaces, Wilson Plaza, Bruin Plaza, and Bruin Walk. Essentially, we've dramatically reduced the cost of our venue by over $20,000 without reducing the atmosphere for student attendees. This was not an easy task, and it involved consistent meetings with faculty from many departments, scouring previous year's budgets, and sourcing alternatives for various components of the venue. USAC surplus was not Plan A nor Plan B, which means that what remains to cover, artists, management, and hospitality riders, known as A&R, is not due to lack of effort elsewhere. And as a non-referendum event, our only guaranteed funding comes from our annual CAC allocation, which is not matched A&R inflation rates. And as a student-run organization, we simply do not have access to the same funding streams as larger institutions to meet those costs independently. Furthermore, as UCLA venue quotes increase, more and more of our budget is allocated towards securing a space, which by ASUCLA guidelines is required before any artist contracting can be conducted. We are thus dependent on surplus in some part this year to supplement our other streams of revenue.
Next slide, please. Thank you. That's why we're requesting $110,000 in surplus funding to support A&R. Though $110,000 may seem like a very large sum, it is very, very on par with current festival rates. Typically, JRF receives an annual budget that goes towards venue, artists, and other costs. However, this budget was set over 40 years ago, and it has not increased with the artist maker nor UCLA venue inflation rates. Furthermore, honorarium funding, which is typically for guest services such as artists, speakers, and etc., has a maximum allocation of $500. And for the caliber of artists that JRF has hosted, as you've seen, even combining multiple of these applications would not even scratch the surface. The estimates listed in our budget come from preliminary conversations we've had with artists and management teams. And despite reiterating that we are a student-run and student-funded organization, we've still received very high estimates back. And without at least 5 artists, our event fails to even meet the requirements to be a festival. Strong Artists does, though, allow us to drive attendance and engagement, which keeps ticket prices affordable to our students and sustain the free, student-centered programming that defines JRF. We've done everything we can to build this foundation, but to truly turn the wheel, we need that initial investment to move it. And importantly, did you say 1 minute?
Mark.
Yes. And importantly, that is not a one-time solution. We already have a plan in place to expand external sponsorships, increase visibility, and build long-term funding pipelines so that each year builds on the last. This investment is what allows us to close the gap between what we are now and what we know JRF can be, positioning us as a sustainable premier festival for years to come.
Every year, JRF is the result of a full staff's creative ambitions. I'm going to keep it short with everything that our staff is involved in, but as you can see from people who came forward, it really is a lot. It means a lot to our staff. It means a lot to the UCLA community. Surplus is really important for us to continue this event. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm finished. Thank you guys all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Because we have the elections board member here to present, I'm going to call on him to speak. Jack, I'll give you 5 minutes. Do you have a presentation, Jack, or do you just?
Does this one still not work?
Yeah. Or I don't know. Check. Hello? Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a presentation though?
Materials over to Jonathan a couple days ago.
It's in the folder. Okay.
It's not a full presentation, but I'm hoping the charts are a good visual guide. No, that's not the
I
file.
think is it the reimbursement one?
Presentation material. It's just
Presentation material.
it's the PowerPoint. Right?
They're all titled random.
Excuse me.
All right. You may begin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jack. I'm the Elections Board Finance Chair for this year's cycle. And I want to start by saying that this is my presentation for our surplus request. So since I last spoke at a USAC council meeting, that was when I was approved for this position. And I'm happy to report that since that time started, the campaign process has been off to a very swell and smooth sailing. In fact, yesterday was our first deadline for financial reporting for all candidates and ballot representatives. Everyone submitted the reports, and that also means that I'm now responsible for processing about $1,300 worth of reimbursements for payments made between the start of campaigning and the 20th yesterday, and this will continue for another cycle during May up till May 5th. So I want to start by saying that what you're seeing now on your screens is our current financial situation. This is the budget that we've gotten allocated. So the way that you're going to be reading this chart is that we start at the green bar, everything left to right are our expenses. So in terms of what we're starting with, we were given $26,388 for the academic year for our elections board expenses and all of our categories. So for what we've already spent this year, there were payments made out for staff stipends from fall and winter quarter. That's that first $4,000 right there. In terms of the other money that we know that we'll have to pay towards the end of the school year, there's another round of stipends for spring. Our team is now fully staffed. That's why that number is now larger than covering those first 2 quarters worth of stipends. And then additionally, these are getting out the vote initiatives are that item of $2,000 there. We're collaborating with ASUCLA on a voucher program where when voting starts, there will be multiple stations around campus near ASU-CLA locations. And by showing a staffer that you have voted, you show them the confirmation screen, you'll be handed a $5 voucher to use at one of those locations. Now, as you can see here, $2,000, $5, or yeah, $2,000 for $5 donations. I mean, there's only 400 of these vouchers that we're covering, and we're still unclear on if ASU-CLA will foot the bill for a more expanded version of this project. And I've dug through the research, and in last year's ASU-CLA budget report and their outlook for how the 2024-2025 financial report turned out, there was an average of about 4,000 people in terms of foot traffic per day at ASU-CLA sites. So we're really not reaching that many people with that mark there. On top of that proposal, we have the final major expense we have, which is paying out our candidate reimbursements. As stated in the elections code, every candidate, every ballot representative has a certain spending limit. For candidates, that's $200. For ballot representatives, that's $1,000. We plan on being able to reimburse all of those expenses. And on top of that, each party also has a $5, $50 sandwich board allocation. And if we do the math, we have 37 candidates for all of our races and 4 ballot initiatives. 41 times 250 and times the other 1,050, that ends up being $13,450. And with that, we're left with about $700 of a leftover subtotal that we can't really do that much with. So we really do believe that this initiative that we're doing in partnership with ASU-CLA, other initiatives we want to do, like giveaways of Red Bulls on campus during the week of elections as well, that these can really energize the vote. But we also know that we're really bootstrapped in terms of the financial limitations with the amount that is already allocated towards necessary expenses that we can't necessarily engage towards voter turnout. So that's why we're asking for our surplus amount. So if we go to the next slide, this is our proposal. So instead of using all of our money and paying down everything and really having minimal voter engagement, we're asking that we fund our candidate reimbursements, that final line item, with a surplus request of that $13,450. There is precedent for this in previous year's elections. Last year, candidate reimbursements were paid through with a surplus allocation, so we're hoping that this standard can continue through this year. With that additional $13,450 we're requesting, we're going to be reinvesting all of that straight back into voter engagement. That could be an expansion of the meal vouchers. Instead of only having 400, we're going to maximize that amount. That also means that we're having additional giveaways, digital initiatives, extra engagement, and marketing plans towards our other events, like our debates that are coming up as well. And that once we go through that amount using that 450 that were allocated, plus that little bit of 700 left over, that'll be used fully on our campaign, on our voter turnout initiatives. And then from there, we still have just enough to cover that maximal amount of candidate reimbursements. So through this time, in my research, I've seen that last year's election was the highest turnout in over 5 years. It was about 28.9%. That was 8,900 students. Our student body is about 32,000. I don't think that our 5-year high voter turnout should start with a digit like a 2. And I think that with this extra amount of investment, over 6 times the amount that we currently have allocated, we can reach a far higher number to not only allow that our candidates don't have to worry about spending it out of pocket since we have that money now allocated for them, but also that we can engage all of our students being able to vote, all the communities that feel like they're not represented by knowing about this election, participating in this process. We want to do that, and we're willing to spend whatever dollar it takes to engage as many students as we can. So I'll take any time for questions.
Jack, you get like one question. Is there any questions? Yeah, Nico?
Just to clarify, is this funding to reimburse candidates for their expenses, or is this for voter engagement?
So what would have been their candidate reimbursement budget, that left over about like 13.5 that we have, we're instead going to spend all of that down from our initial allocation, use that for voter turnout initiatives, and then we're asking for the 13,450 in surplus, and that will be what's used for the payouts instead.
Okay, so just to confirm, you guys do currently have funding for candidate
We do.
reimbursement.
So that the previous slide that has our current budget, that is a sustainable amount. We have enough to cover everyone right now, but we're just asking to get a little extra investment since we really believe that we have the capabilities of engaging everyone else.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much. And then yes, Hiram.
Can we move on to mine? Really, it will be so.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'll do, can we promote Willa? She's in the attendees.
Is
And then
it
this is the
5 minutes
grad.
okay?
5 is more than enough.
Okay.
Tommy, do you mind sharing the slideshow I sent you? It should be the one that's the photography one. While Tommy's doing that, just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, Will is amazing. Will has been collaborating with TSR for, oh my God, since Megan Harmon was TSR. She collaborated with Mona, and now she's hopefully collaborating with me if you guys give us, allocate some funds for us. Willa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes. All right. I can hear you just fine. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. In the interest of time, I can go through this fairly quickly, but my name is Willa Catolo. I'm a UCLA alumni, English degree, class of 2019. Got started as a photographer in 2016 when I was still a freshman. We hit next slide. Quick overview about me here. I've worked with a number of different entertainment giants, community organizations, grassroots community groups, and at the core of my practice is making sure people feel seen, heard, and valued on their own terms. I'm very aware of photography's oppressive colonial origins, so I keep it at the forefront of my practice to make sure that if people do have a bad relationship with with photography, I can recontextualize it and reestablish it as something empowering and positive, all while commemorating their grad experience. Next slide. Yeah. Um, I'm a very culturally informed artist. I'm very engaged in my community, politically and socially. So I offer disability-friendly, queer-friendly posing instructions for anyone with any experience level with taking photos. Given the excitement of having your grad portraits before time to walk, I have a expedited 1 week turnaround for everyone. And in each 30-minute session, everyone will walk away with at least 9 high-quality images, professionally edited, retouched, suitable for archival prints and social media sharing. And there's no preset that I use for one size fits all because different skin tones and complexions require hand-touched editing. And I always make sure that people look true to life in their photos. Yeah, and also my Spanish is conversational. In years past, many students have brought their family members, especially folks from Latinx backgrounds, and maybe they don't have family members that are fluent in English. I'm able to converse and still provide instructions for them, despite that initial language barrier. Next slide. Yeah, these are the offerings in years past. The first year I did this with Megan, the transfer center initially booked out 5 days and we sold out almost immediately. So they expanded to 7. Last year we went to 7 again, and we're still able to, facilitate portraits for over 100 students and groups of students. And all my base rate traditionally is 350 per hour, but given the volume of this type of request and project, the Transfer Student Center, I have always prorated my fees to be more in the range of 275 to 260 an hour, as the transfer center has booked out more. And that's just to make sure the pricing can be as accessible as possible. And I have different options here in light of budget cuts I've been hearing about, and just to make sure that it fits in neatly with the surplus funding allocations for all the really important causes students have been presenting about tonight. Next slide. So in one 8-hour day, I can facilitate about 16 portrait sessions. So in a scenario where there were 5 days booked out, that's 80 sessions over the course of 5 consecutive or non-consecutive days. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier in 2024, Transcenter initially started with 5 and expanded due to demand. We went with a 7-day option again last year and still filled that out. And all these packages include priority scheduling and like I mentioned, a 1 week turnaround. So everyone will have their photos before their graduation ceremonies. Next slide. These are testimonials after last year's portrait sessions. I had so many folks that relate to me that they probably wouldn't have been able to afford to get graduation portraits done otherwise if it wasn't for this initiative from the TSR office. And there are a lot of opportunities and jobs I have to take to sustain myself as an artist that I don't really get to feel super fulfilled by. And so the opportunity to provide professional, like the highest caliber of image that I can make to so many different students who wouldn't have been able to access that type of photography otherwise has always been really special to me. And I would love to continue that tradition this year, if the surplus funding allows. Next slide. Yeah, and that's all for me. If there are any questions, I'm happy to field them. But regardless, thank you everyone for putting in the extra time tonight and hearing out all these presentations and for your consideration. Thank you so much.
You?
Yeah, and transparently, I know that there are, 3 offerings. I would prefer the 10-day option to just make sure we have as many students, participate as possible. But I know that we're like also tight on cash right now with surplus. So literally any of the offerings, I will take anything, please. Like, we love Willa, and this is such an amazing, amazing opportunity for especially our low-income transfer students. And I appreciate your guys' consideration. And then I just have one more. I'll make it really quick too, I swear. Tommy, could you promote Neha and Chanel again? And then it's the Bruin Family and Friends Day presentation. Chanel, the one you promoted earlier, SCHINAL. Yeah. My student housing. Oh God. Okay. Neha, you need to speed run this.
Okay, I will be so fast. How long do I have? 4 minutes?
3.
3. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm back again. I will be giving a really fast presentation on Bruin Family and Friends Day. Next slide, please. So just a really quick description of who we are, there we go, who we are. Obviously, we are the Student Housing Committee, so we focus on housing issues for transfer students, as well as all students in UAs, off campus, on the Hill, etc. We've since expanded to work on basic needs issues, including dining and other basic needs advocacy, which is intrinsic to like the student housing experience. To do that, we host a lot of events. We've done many outward-facing events like Housing Night, the Winter Warmth event, also with BPS in the past, which was a series of like 3 basic needs drives. We've held town halls. We've done a lot of things. Our main goal is to basically help better the transfer experience when it relates to housing and basic needs issues. We do that in 3 main ways. I kind of already touched on events. We also do social media advocacy, a lot of education, Reels campaigns, things like that. And then advocacy with the administration. So we work a lot with dining and housing. We actually recently just got them to publish their numbers for housing transparency placement, which is a big win. But yeah, just a really high level spiel. Next slide, please. And then obviously this event that we're looking to host today, it's essentially a field day event. The full name is Bruin Family and Friends Day. The goal is just to create a family-friendly campus field day. It's meant and designed to have a space for transfers, students with dependents, and actual students within the Los Angeles community to see themselves represented in higher education and to have an event to celebrate themselves. We're inviting students from
1
Project
minute
Literacy.
timestamp.
Okay, which is a CSC group, Bruin Parenting Scholars, as well as the Transfer Student Experience to focus on the housing issues. So the event is featuring all 3. That's kind of a big overview. Next slide, I'll go over the budget, please. So we're seeking funding for the actual venue cost. So Wilson South on the IM field for Oyo and Field Day. Next slide. This is the breakdown of it. I put a QR code. So
We're
you can
asking
actually
for like
click.
10K.
Yeah, there we go. So you can click all of the links. The biggest cost is the venue. That's the highest thing we want to fund. Why it's important, you can kind of skim through that yourself. But the biggest thing is equity and conclusion. Actually seeing yourself represented on campus is so important. That's why we're inviting the LA youth, and that's why BPS is in this event. So yeah, that was very
Chanel,
fast.
do you have any comments really quickly?
No, it's no time, but this is how access becomes shared and belonging becomes real. And you guys can be a part of that transformation.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now go into recess and return at 10:10, 10:15, 10:10, 10. Let's say 10:15.
I would just, I can't, I didn't want to talk Friday. No, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it.